Hello everyone. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. I know that we certainly are here in Zone 7A, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. It's a beautiful day out. It's like 70 something degrees. Got all the windows open. Weather's perfect. I finally feel like I'm not dying anymore, and I'm sure other people are feeling the same way. All right, so the topic for today, we got the White Falcon. That means we're talking business. The topic for today is how to my whole thing is to make you guys more creative. How can you figure out your own licks and find your own voice and what you like playing instead of copying other people all the time and hoping to arrive at new licks or whatever, or like your own sound. So if you watch this channel, my guitar videos, two biggest things that I'm big on are intervals and chords. All right, so today we're going to talk about the diminished scale. All right, there's only one diminished scale, but it has two modes. Right, so we got the whole half, or we got the half whole. So it'd be sorry. Right, and we're in the key of G right now, and so I want to show you guys something. The bottom four strings of the guitar, they're separated by perfect fourth intervals, right? And then you have a major third between the G and the B, and then we're going back to a perfect fourth between the B and the high E. So you could look at that as four perfect fourth intervals and then a major third in there. But there's another way to look at how the guitar is set up. If you notice, the interval between the D string and the B string, that's a major sixth, right? And you'll also notice that the interval between the G and the high E is also a major sixth. So major six, major six. So G, B, major six, D, B, major six, G, E, major six. If you look at the intervals inside a diminished scale, right? So let's look at the chord, the diminished chord. That's a G diminished. So let's build it up. So we got root. So every interval is separated by minor thirds, right? What happens when you add together or you sum two minor thirds? You get three of them. So that's one minor third, another minor third. Two minor thirds is a tritone. And then you add another minor third from the tritone and you get a major six. So when you stack three minor thirds, you get a major six. So that gives you the notes G and E. So what does that mean for us? We know that the diminished scale is a symmetric scale. And, it repeats in minor third cells. So that means that when you get up back to the high E compared to the root, which is G in our example, in the key of G diminished, any pattern you play in the G position, you can play it up a major six. Likewise, you can do that since the G and the high E are separated by a major 6, that's one of the symmetric intervals. So what does that mean practically, right? So that means that you can have the G and the E string, and you can stay in the same box, string skip, and then play your pattern. What does that look like? What am I talking about? All right, let's examine. So we're on the G string, right? Let's just play open. Open 2, 3. On the E string now. So we got, let's continue the pattern diatonically through the diminished scale. Right? So again, the G and the E string are separated by one of the intervals that makes up the cell for the diminished scale. If you want to learn more about cells and stuff like that, go to 4chan if you want to be an incel. But in terms of like modes and what I'm talking about in music theory, you can look at Oliver Messiaen's modes, like the 7 modes that are made out of repeating cells, right? The whole tone scale is another example that has the cell of a whole step. So we can use this to make, patterns are not good when they cause you to scratch and stuff like that, because we want to be able to be on stage, have a guitar hanging low, look cool, and to be able to drink copious amounts of beer and not mess up our phrases. And it's harder to be able to drink and to play phrases that make you jump and do all kinds of weird mechanical things with your hand, right? So, I don't know what that was, but yeah, so all right, so I'm gonna play that again. I'm gonna play it a little faster so you can see. Now, I just explained like the music theory and how to think about it in intervals. The guitar is an instrument that is played by putting your finger in certain positions and creating certain geometries with your hands and your finger pointing, right, into certain geometries, right? Chord shapes, those are all different geometries, right? So what does this mean from the geometric versus the intervallic perspective? This means that if you're in the diminished scale, right, and you want to stay within that scale diatonically, anything you play on the G string in the diminished, you can repeat that same fingering on the high E. So that was a little shitty, but you get the idea. You can just repeat the pattern just by string skipping, right? Likewise, you can do the same exact thing on the D and the B string respectively. And the thing is, like, if you can repeat them on the G and the E string, that means that you can fill in also symmetrically. Like if you want to stay in the same scale or something, or use the top 4 strings, then you can fill it in from the G and the B and do the same thing. So I'll give you an example in G diminished. I got a little off key there, but so we go. Right, that's kind of the idea here, is that you can play something like this, for example, right? I'm just trying to emphasize. Right? And so you'll just have, it's basically two cells repeating over and over across both strings, right? So let me give you an example of a lick that I came up with using this concept. And again, you can repeat these patterns every minor third also, which makes it even easier, right? And it creates a lot of tension, and it's really a cheat code for a guitar, especially since we have this built, like I said, people think of the guitar as made in fourths, but in reality, we have this this built-in diminished symmetry in it, not just perfect fourth symmetry. And that, I feel like no one's ever talked about that. I'm not saying I came up with this idea, but I did discover it on my own. All right, so let's play a pattern I came up with. So here we go, in G diminished. And this is where the second fret is because my headstock's cutting out a little bit. Here we go. Right, one more time. All right, now I'm going to play on the G and the B string. First, I'll do an example of like what I'm talking about. Right. So that's it, guys. So playing from the G and the B string, we can repeat patterns. See, I'm playing the same exact thing with my fingers. I can turn off my brain here. I can go, oh, okay, this geometry, and go down this one. And then go up. And the thing is with the cells, there's really only two kinds of cells, right? Now on the G and the E string, I'm literally just repeating on two strings. But I sound like a guitar lord. Right? So that was just another lick I just spontaneously came up with, right? The one from before is this. Right, so I'd like you guys to experiment using that string skipping for the top four strings to come up with simple, creative patterns that you like to play in the diminished scale. I hope this video has helped, and I hope you guys be creative.